Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day today. Coming at you with the next excerpt of my first novel in a series, Black and White Odyssey of Eden. Going to continue where I left off, so let's have at this. The scientist scoured the letter, its words leaving him in a state of disbelief. He then darted his eyes back up toward the soldier, who had handed him the letter, and stammered back, nearly tripping over the shrubbery behind him as he shuffled away. Almost instinctually, and immediately, he heeded the words of the letter, and with no other words retreated to within the labyrinths of his newly constructed compound. "Sir? Sir!" the soldier hollered at him as he departed from him, leaving the soldier without verification of what was going on. But in truth, he did not need it. The writing was on the wall. This was the end. The next chapter. Symbols. Thomas walked slowly through the long corridor, windows draped with plastic covering to protect those walking by from the shattered glass, blowing gently in the afternoon breeze. Chimes sang a somber melody in the background, as if in a calm acceptance, a reprieve from the city's turmoil the late afternoon sun offered. As the sun hung low in the sky to the west, hovering above prairies of golden grass, dark smoke billowed from the many cavities adorning the edifices of the cityscape to the east in stark contrast. No one was rioting now. No gunfire could be heard, just the gentle breeze and the rustle of autumn leaves about the ground. Dried mud and sweat stained Thomas's white lab coat, tattered from months of constant use. His head hung low upon his towering frame, exhausted from a ceaseless workload, mind raking against the thoughts that weighed heavily upon his mind, now more than ever before. Two children rushed past him, giggling as they chased one another, themselves clothed in an austere garb of tattered rags as well. Just beyond, the long corridor gave way to a dimly lit room, adorned on every wall by what amounted to little more than cots, contraptions meant to pass as for hospital beds, scrapped together with what was clearly minimal supplies and time. Most of them had children in them, some of whom were gravely wounded. A slender woman stood with her back turned to Thomas, clearly enthralled in deep study of technical paperwork, resting on the metal stand before her. Speak with care and love. Look up and behind you. The one you care for is approaching. The thought resonated through her mind, and raise her head she did. The scientist stood studiously at the console, overlooking the scene. Battle-weary men in military uniforms patrolled the perimeter of the building, a run-down hospital located just on the outskirts of downtown Philadelphia. A precarious place torn between two worlds. The bodies of Chinese soldiers were strewn about the shores of the harbor, having attempted what amounted to a suicide mission. Attack through the Arctic and Atlantic oceans, where the rising temperature of the planet had melted previously unavailable channels through the Arctic ice. Such insane logic was abundant throughout the globe. Resources steadily restricted, strangling sense in a tortuously slow manner out of even the strongest states, the strongest peoples. Emboldened, China viewed the civil unrest in the states as a perfect opportunity to do something even the dullest of military strategists would have called absurdly stupid, and the bloodbath ensued. The sound of mortars firing had polluted the cityscape only hours earlier, where skyscrapers stood, holes gaping from their faces from what was a brutal battle. Smoke billowed in various directions from the horizon. At least the riots stopped, Thomas thought cynically. The scientist's eyes were bloodshot, bags hanging low below them, shoulders slouched. For years he had been looking out about the catastrophe, poring over all paths that his machine revealed to him. For years he tried to find a path that would give anyone a glimmer of hope. a path that did not lead to nuclear extinction. There was no such path. He had concluded long ago. He accepted this, but would not run away from this seventh layer. Maybe he felt some sick pleasure in the knot that he constantly had to forcibly swallow through down his throat. If the world were to die, he would feel its pain, all of it. That way, he thought, he may not betray their stories, for they deserved to be heard. Perhaps in their stories, they will live forever. He turned a dial on the console's control panel, zooming the console's screen to where he was now positioned directly beside Thomas. And that's this section. I'll come at you with the next one later. Love y'all. Peace.